One of the healing modalities that I find really interesting about you is your interest in dolphins and using that interest in a healing way.
Yes, you know, you know what I say, Jill, is that I think everything I ever learned in the world of psychology, training, motivation, lecturing, I think I've learned everything from dolphins. They have been the best and continue to be the best teachers. Dolphins and whales, I should include all the cetaceans here, as they're called. I have been inspired over the years. Well, I should start off by saying I've been very fortunate to spend lots of time with dolphins and whales in the wild around the world, and I've been inspired by their sense of camaraderie, their sense of humor, their teamwork, their excellent communication skills, their willingness to adapt to new environments, new situations, new surroundings, and their ability to just get on with things regardless of what strange things are happening around them, including strange two-legged creatures jumping in the water next to them. So I've learned a great deal just by being in the company of dolphins and whales. I don't know whether they're conscious or otherwise of being teachers, but I think they're great teachers.
It was interesting on your website reading some of the myths, and really people have believed that about dolphins for a long time from reading these myths. And one of them that was really fascinating were the fishermen that would use the dolphins to help bring the fish in, and that there was that understanding the dolphins knew what their task was.
What I'm so thrilled to be able to say is that we don't even have to use the past tense there. It's still happening. In fact, 3 years ago, as part of the research for my book, which is all about the mythology surrounding dolphins and whales and humans' relationship with dolphins and whales over the millennia.
A lot of research.
A lot of research, 60 countries and 10 years of research.
How many pages is it?
It's just under 600 of hopefully a readable journey through the world of dolphins and whales and our relationship with them. That in that time, there have been many cultures that have cooperated. If we're using this example of fishing, that have cooperated with dolphins and whales in getting their daily catch, for example. And part of the research, and I devote quite a lot of pages in the book to this, is a wonderful experience that I had in Myanmar or Burma about 4 or 5 years ago now, with a group of fishermen just north of Mandalay. Mandalay. The road to Mandalay. Well, that's what Kipling wrote about. Mandalay as a city does exist. It is a romantic place. The sunsets are amazing. It has a romantic decay about it because the buildings are really, like many things in Myanmar, are in a very poor state of repair. But instead of the road to Mandalay, we took the river from Mandalay, about 50 kilometers north actually, and came upon a little village that we'd heard about, and we had to, because of the nature of Myanmar, we had to do a lot of pre-planning of this and get government approval and so on. But we came across a group of fishermen, about 13 in total, who every day go out onto the water, and this is a river, so these are dolphins in a river.
This is a river. Are they pink dolphins?
No, the pink dolphins are in South America. These are actually who also do cooperative fishing with some of the locals, and I've spent time with the pink dolphins in Peru. But this is a particular kind of dolphin that exists in the rivers around Myanmar, Thailand. You get them in Bangladesh also, and they exist in both the ocean and the rivers. But this particular pod live only in the river. In fact, they're 800 kilometers from the ocean, so they never swim out to sea.
Is it fresh water?
It's fresh water, totally fresh water.
But their species also live in the ocean.
They do. This particular pod, though, branched off a long time ago and show no inclination to go back to the sea. And they fish with the fishermen. Now, you might think, what does that look like? Well, first of all, they're not trained. I mean, there's no fisherman training these dolphins and throwing fish to them as a reward. It's nothing like you'd see in the horrible dolphinaria around the world. It's much more, no one knows how it evolved, but evolution is the word. The fishermen go out in a boat, normally around sunset, and they start tapping on the side. and dolphins have very good hearing. All of this is described in the book, yeah. Okay. And the dolphins respond. They signal back to the fishermen with a certain movement, a slap of the tail and a flip out of the water, tumbling onto their side, that they found a fish and they're herding the fish towards the boat, so get ready to catch. And so the fisherman then stands up on the front of the boat, and I have photographs of this in the book, and throws out the net when the dolphin gives the particular signal and hauls in a 1 or 2 or 3 juicy looking fish. And the interesting thing about this technique, which, you know, we watch firsthand, is that the dolphins take a share of any fish they catch.
And this is because the fishermen give them the share?
No, they help themselves at the same time. So they seem to take a share, the fishermen take a share, but always enough fish survive to continue. So there's this perfect balance.
The dolphin know how much to attract.
Absolutely.
And let the fishermen know.
Absolutely.
It works very hard.
It's worked for centuries as far as we know. There's reports of it at least 200 years old.
And the fish are not frightened of the dolphin? They do they know it's their fate, that this is how
hard to say. I would imagine that they have learned that this is a predator. They probably don't realize that it's a predator working hand in hand with another predator, or flipper in hand. I imagine the fish are just running or swimming for dear life, and many of them of course get away, but there's a few who end up either in the belly of a dolphin or the belly of the local grateful villagers. It's amazing.
Do the villagers really revere the dolphin as a result?
Yes, and in various parts of the world, the degree of reverence varies. In Myanmar, it's gratitude that one would have towards a generous friend. In the Amazon, for example, where the same behavior occurs with pink dolphins, it is a reverence that's almost godlike. These pink dolphins are gods. They're not only gods, they're shapeshifters. So they can and do, under the moonlight, transform into humans, or often beautiful men and women who then seduce the local people. And there are varying accounts of what then happens. They can have highly intelligent babies are born if it's a human female that's been seduced, and this baby, as it grows up, will inexplicably be drawn to go back to the water and will spend all of its childhood playing by the water's side.
Disney got these ideas.
Absolutely. There are so many ideas that I see in so many stories around the world that relate to or seem to have their origins in this kind of belief, this idea of dolphins changing shape and becoming people, or people changing shape and becoming dolphins.
Have you heard of motifs of dolphins or drawings of dolphins in places, I'm talking in ancient places, that had never been close to water, where they actually saw the dolphins?
Absolutely. In fact, there are 2 classic examples I could give of that. One is in what's now become a tourist hotspot, Petra in Jordan, which is a beautiful city carved out of rock in the middle of the desert. Very popular spot for Middle Eastern tourism. The original Nabatean people who lived there, their supreme goddess was a dolphin goddess. And there are various stories, depending on who you ask, about where this dolphin goddess emerged in the middle of a desert. The fact is, she was seen as a protector, as a friend, as a supplier of food, and lots of attributes that even today we associate with dolphins. So you wouldn't expect to see a dolphin in the middle of the Middle Eastern desert. Perhaps even more startling is a dolphin form, anyway, the shape of a dolphin. Modern anthropologists call it a dolphin, that the Dogon people of Mali, so now we're in the middle of the African Sahara, worshipped. And their story is perhaps even more extraordinary. They believe that this dolphin form that they called Nomo arrived from another planet. And so they have interstellar associations with this creature that, when they drew on the sand for French anthropologists in the early 1930s, looked like a fish. And then they pointed out, no, this is not a fish, because this fish breathes air, which put it into the realm of the cetaceans. So it's extraordinary to think that these desert-dwelling people, who presumably never seen a dolphin in their lives, are there worshipping dolphins.
So Jason, this book is available through you, through your website.
It is.
People can purchase this.
It is indeed.
And it's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to reading this.
Thank you
very much, Jason.
It's a pleasure.